Hello, lovely people. It's Vlogtober Day 21. Had to think about that. I've had a fairly slow, plodding morning. I don't have to be at work till 3:30, so I was definitely not rushing to do my stuff this morning. I got up at a reasonable time. I had quite a good night's sleep, and I spent some time doing my usual morning routines on the phone and everything. And I knew I needed to make a meal plan for the coming week. So I did that, and I just went through the book that I have got, where I have written in lots of recipes that I found from different sources, handwritten in. It's a really messy book. I don't know if you have a similar thing, but a handwritten recipe book is a wonderful treasure, but it gets so untidy. I did a few years ago, I completely threw away an old one. I had transferred some of the recipes in there that I wanted to keep, and I started a new one. And I'm using a book that was a desk diary because it had a beautiful cover. And I wanted to not throw away the cover. And I kept a lot of the pages, and I'm just pasting in recipes over the top of the calendar pages. And so I went through that book, and I managed to make a meal plan for 2 whole weeks. So that makes me feel more organized. I do need to do shopping, of course. A lot of the ingredients are pantry staples, which I have in the house all the time, but some are not. And we are due for a Costco shop again. Oh, God. It's always something that you have to wind yourself up for, going to Costco to shop. It's not that I'm dreading it as such. It's just you need to allocate a big chunk of your day to going there, spending time walking around amongst the crowds, checking out, and then coming home and putting all the darn stuff away. But I'm grateful to have a Costco, at least not too far away, and they do have good stuff, don't they? I am completely going off tangent here. Yes, I was talking about making a meal plan. This coming weekend, we are going up to a small town about a couple of hours drive away from here. Some friends of ours moved there at the end of last year, and we haven't visited their new place yet, and they are ready to host us for a potluck and an overnight stay. So we are going to take food for lunch. So I had to decide what that was going to be. And we're also we're probably going to walk in the afternoon, have a simple supper, and then play Mexican train dominoes in the evening, which is what we always do when we're together. And stay over and have breakfast and then come home. So that'll be a great weekend. Nice way to spend some weekend time. And it just worked out so well because I don't have a shift on the Saturday, so I was free to do that. Today, as I said last night when I was recording yesterday's vlog, I had an idea for something small to make, and I had seen the idea on Ravelry, funnily enough. I'm in a group called So Obsessed on Ravelry, and someone had shown off a skillet handle cover. Cast iron skillets tend to have very hot handles. They are not insulated as a rule. They are not made of a heat-proof fabric, or material, I should say. They're not made of a heat-proof material. And I actually really like that. My cast iron frying pan, I bought probably about 10 years ago from a thrift shop. And it's just a basic cast iron frying pan, no enameling, no fancy handle. And I love it because you can use it on the stove, in the oven, and on a campfire. And it's not going to get hurt by any of that. It's just going to get better and better, and it'll outlive me. But they do have hot handles, and you have to be careful when you're cooking with them. And so I have made a skillet handle cover. I pulled out some of this appliance fabric, which I absolutely love. I have made a few other things from, which you will have seen if you follow me at all. In the summer, I made some pot holders, and I made some straw or cutlery bags. And I also made longer time ago, a French press coffee cozy. So this was a really tiny project. It was like 10 minutes. You just cut 5 by 6 inch pieces of fabric in your outer, your liner, and your insole bright. And I have scraps of insulated batting in my stash. And it comes from a website called crazylittleprojects.com. I'll link it underneath the video, but it's crazylittleprojects.com, skillet handle cover. And I want to go look at what else they've got tutorials for now, because I think they might have some good ideas on there. So I made it exactly how they said, getting distracted by a lady walking by with her dog. And I'm rather pleased with how the rolling pin ended up exactly on the top like that. I could also use it the other way around. It doesn't really matter, because the important thing is that we just don't burn our hands. And so it matches these pot holders. I'm not sure if I think I gave away the round pot holders that I made for the market out of this fabric. I think I might have given them to the people who were making the Welsh cakes. But I still have these. So these little pot holders work well for handles, casserole handles. And I do have a couple of Dutch ovens, which also get very, very hot, because they are just cast iron with a ceramic coating, and there's no insulating material on those either. So these just slot over the handles. In a way, I'd like to invent something that actually snaps around the handles, so that when you're cooking, or maybe just after you're cooking and people are serving themselves from the pan, you could snap an insulated thing around the handles, and maybe also something on the lid, the knob of the lid, so that someone doesn't absent-mindedly come and like take the lid off or move the pan and burn themselves. But I don't think I've got the time to do that today, because I need to go out. I only have the one skillet, which has the uninsulated handle, so I only need to make one of these. It's tempting to make a whole bunch, but I'm not going to, at least not today. Lovely and sunny out there right now. I feel like it was a gamble between, or not a gamble, it was a toss-up between going outside, getting a little bit of daylight and fresh air before work, or coming down here and sewing that handle. I only have 25 minutes before I have to go to work, so I think that's going to be the extent of my playing for now. Good morning. It's the next day. I woke up this morning and I realized that after I got home from work last night, I had not filmed anything else after my little piece of sewing yesterday. I came home from work at about 8:45 and had a snack, because I didn't have a proper dinner, because I just had something small in my 15-minute break at work, and sat on the couch and watched a few sewing tutorial videos, and then went to bed. And I completely forgot about Vlogtober. Bad me. I woke up at 5 this morning, pitch dark, of course, and I thought, I'm pretty wide awake. Maybe I'll just get up. Mr. Stitches had already got up. God knows what time he was out of bed. And I thought I might as well get up and have a cup of tea and get started with my day. Not that I have a huge amount of things to do today, but it makes me feel a little more in control, if you know what I mean. So 6 a.m., Mr. Stitches went off to work to go to the office and get started on his paperwork. And it's now around 7 and the sky is just starting to lighten out there. And I have made myself some cinnamon raisin porridge with maple syrup. And I just wrapped this blanket around me because I was still feeling a little bit cool, even though I've got my man's fleece dressing gown on that I've had for probably 20 years. It's my winter dressing gown and it covers most of me. It's far too big for me, but it means I can layer it over all sorts of other warm clothing if it gets really cold. I mean, yes, we have a good heating system in the house. But who doesn't love bundling up in the winter, right? My shift last night went well. It finished at 8, so I wasn't there till the bitter end, which was nice. And I was drooling over the last of the fall stock. Of course, fall is now on at 70% off because even though Halloween hasn't actually happened, we're firmly into Christmas products now. That's retail for you, isn't it? So we're selling fake Christmas trees by the dozen. I didn't actually buy any of the fall stuff, but I am thinking of it because with us going to our friends this weekend for a sleepover. We're going for a sleepover. It would be nice to take them housewarming gift, and some of the fall stuff at Michael's is kind of cool. Totally unnecessary, but fun. So the plan for today is make seitan, which is this wheat gluten meat substitute that is so easy to make, and it always feels like an onerous task, but it really isn't. Because we're having seitan saltado for dinner, which is super easy. Once the seitan is made, you just saute it up with lots of bell peppers, and I think there's just a little bit of vinegar and other flavors in there, and then you have it with oven fries. Again, super easy. So I might as well get the seitan made this morning rather than do it as a last minute thing. Seeing as I was up so early, I have lots of time. And then at 10:45, I have an appointment with my orthodontist. I think they're just going to check that my teeth haven't moved and that my retainers are still fitting fine. So I'm taking the retainers with me. And then the plan is to walk with my friend Jane this afternoon. We'll probably go into the nearby park and have a little bit of a hike along the trails. So that'll be nice. I didn't actually go for a walk yesterday. I just relied on my work shift to give me the steps I needed. But yeah, it'll be nice to go out and walk in the woods today, and I'll make sure to get some footage to show you a little bit later on. It's about 8:30 now. What a beautiful morning. Oh, I can see my breath. It's so cool. Obviously rained overnight, but we're not due to get any rain during the day as far as I know, so it should be perfect for a hike in the park later. Before I even start getting dressed and getting my teeth cleaned, I'm having another cup of tea. No point brushing my teeth before my second cup of tea of the day. I have the items ready for my seitan, so I have my parchment paper for rolling up the pieces, and my pan of water for steaming, and then my bamboo steamer, mixing bowl, measuring spoons, recipe. I am not following the recipe exactly. I don't think I have enough of the chickpea flour to do that. Plus, I'm also adding in some nutritional yeast, which isn't in the recipe. I have only a little bit of this Bragg's left, so I'll probably have to supplement with soy sauce. I've got black pepper. I have some of these Costco gourmet mushrooms soaking, hydrating. Not to put the mushrooms in, but to use the stock because it'll flavour the water nicely. And there's my wheat gluten. I'm just going to finish this that's in the glass thingy. Word eludes me first, and then I've got my backup bags, and then this is all of the chickpea flour I have. It might be enough, but I'm still going to supplement with nutritional yeast as well for the extra flavour. It's really, really simple to make. I've said it before and I'll say it again. These measuring cups and these measuring spoons from Lee Valley are just the best things ever. I have you balanced on an upturned mixing bowl, and I've already knocked you off once, so let's hope I don't do it again. It's not the best way to do this, is it? I know I said this before too, but I'm just as much of a slapdash cook as I am a crafter, so my measuring's not very accurate. I've put 1 3/4 cups of vital wheat gluten, or seitan flour, not seitan flour. It's called vital wheat gluten on the bulk food label. It's basically the protein part of the flour. You can make this from scratch by taking whole wheat flour and pouring water into it and washing it and kneading it and washing it and knead it to get the starch out, and then drain off the water. But I don't have time for that. I'm not even going to measure the chickpea flour because it's the last of the bag. I rather conveniently have a bulk food store nice and close to my orthodontist's office. I think I might be popping in there later. That's it for that. Now this is going to be the bonus ingredient, is the nooch, or nutritional yeast. And I think I'll probably put half a cup of that in. It's got a nice savoury flavour, and it's got some good B vitamins in it. Now, because this is part of a specific recipe where I'm going to be adding some cumin and something else when I'm sautéing it with the peppers later, I'm not going to add herbs. So I will put the half a teaspoon of pepper in. While we're talking about herbs, these spice jars are also from Lee Valley. Got loads of these glass jars. They come with a really good lid that has a sprinkling side and a pouring side, or a scooping spoon side. And the Lee Valley measuring spoons fit perfectly into the top, coincidentally or not. Okay, so in other words, theoretically I need 1/4 cup of Bragg's and about 1.5 cups of water. I think I'm going to use another measuring jug or something. Someone has absconded with one of my measuring things. I haven't seen it in the cupboard it belongs in for a really long time. I think I need a slurp of tea. All right, I want to dilute the Brags before putting it in, so I'm going to put a cup of Brags into this measuring cup. Oh, I didn't have enough, as I suspected. I'm going to supplement with soy sauce. Once you get into Bragg's liquid aminos or all-purpose seasoning, the soy sauce tastes really alcoholic, and you tend to move away from it. Bragg's is purely soy. There's no additives. There's no even added salt. It's just naturally salty. And yeah, it adds a lovely savoury flavour to things. Okay, this is probably going to get messy, but let's see. I need a cup and a half of liquid. Oh, and look, I am flooding my countertop. Oh boy. I think if I was to design jugs, I would make sure that they poured properly. Oh, there goes a lump. Now, having hot water, I think, helps it mix in better. And ideally, with this sort of thing, you want to add all the liquid in one go. You definitely don't want it too wet. It smells really good. I'm not sure how long seitan has been around, but I know that it was invented by Buddhist monks in Japan thousands of years ago because they didn't want to eat animals. Just always blown away by the human inventiveness. So I just realised it's probably a little drier than usual because I added the extra nutritional yeast. So that changed the proportions a bit, so it's a good thing I put the higher amount of water in. It says 1 to 1.5 cups in the recipe, and I put the 1.5. That'll do. Just move my dishcloth and wash my hands. Now it's time to get my water heating up for the steaming. So I'll put it on a high temperature. And then I'm going to divide this into 8 pieces. When I first attempted to make seitan many, many moons ago, I did the boiling method, where you just take chunks of it and throw it into a simmering stock. And it does tend to swell when you cook it. But I don't know, I just didn't like doing it that way. So now I've found different recipes where you steam it or you just bake it in a loaf. And I find that to be a lot more of a pleasant result. So I have my 8 pieces of parchment cut. And then I just have to form my sausage shapes. It doesn't have to be sausage shapes. It depends what your end result is going to be. If you were going to be doing a kind of cutlet type thing, you might want to shape it into a sort of a flat oval. sausage shapes work for my steamer and for when I'm slicing it up to cook it later. You want to wrap it fairly loosely because, as I said, it's going to swell up a little bit. It's a good idea to have them all about the same size so they cook the same amount of time. So I can fit 4 little packages in my steamer. I have 3 levels with a steamer, and it might be a very simple method of steaming things, but it works. I know they look like something that you need to pick up off the dog walking beach. But that is very tasty and chewy and has the sort of mouth feel of meat, if that's what you're looking for. Not that I care about that, but it makes a good substitute. And making your own is obviously a lot cheaper than buying it ready-made. Time for another slurp of tea. The heat's on. When I start to see steam coming out of the top here, I'll start timing for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes, steaming up my kitchen. Very glad I've got a good extractor fan in here. So they didn't change a lot with cooking. I think maybe they swell up more if you do them in the simmering stock. Now, some recipes tell you to cool them, put them in the fridge overnight to develop the gluten more. I never do. Of course I don't. In fact, I frequently just make it and use it in my recipe straight away. But seeing as it's currently only 9 o'clock in the morning, these will have a chance to cool off over the course of the day, and I will use them at dinner time. I'll just leave them like that. And now we come to the end of day 22. Mr. Stitches and I went out for a walk after dinner, so I got to almost 14,000 steps today, which definitely makes up for missing yesterday's walk. Tomorrow I have a work shift and it is followed by an acupuncture session. I really hope that's going to help with the plantar fasciitis. So I'll say goodnight for now and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.